Hello, what is going on, everybody? And welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's August 3rd, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. That's very warm. Good morning to Stacy and Liz. How's it going? Hello to all the rest of you. How was your Tuesday? My Tuesday was very good. And I got everything done I needed to do. Andrew and I recorded a number of episodes. We did, 2 episodes? We recorded 2 episodes to be aired later. We did air a live Q&A. Had more people joining on that than we typically do, which was a lot of fun. I like doing those Q&A episodes. I like thinking. I like talking about martial arts. And so, of course, when you out there give us things to talk about, I think it comes through pretty good. Good morning also to Jenny and Gad and John. Gad was in onboarding session, started his new job on Monday. That's awesome. Congratulations. What else did I do? I had a couple things for a couple clients I had to do. I got them done, and I was thankful. I'm going to work on them more today. Today's, Wednesday. There's so much email. This is a week where I didn't get my... Been yawning up a storm this morning. I didn't do much email Monday because I just had meeting all day. And yesterday was recording. And then I had an acupuncture appointment, which went really well. So I'll start chipping away on the email today. Plenty of stuff to do today. Nothing terribly exciting. Right? Oh, the housekeeper's going to be here. I'll put some stuff. I'll pick things up off the floor so she can do her stuff. And she's going to clean the fridge. So I got to take everything out of the fridge, put it in coolers. Glad I have enough coolers. I think that's it. That's not much to talk about from yesterday and today. Now, I think I definitely, while I'm still going, I want to hear from all of you. What'd you do yesterday? What's going on today? What are you looking forward to? I think that's the part I find most interesting. What's the stuff that you guys look at in your day? You're like, oh, that's going to happen. Are you training? Are you teaching? Are you, I don't know, jumping out of a plane? What else would be cool? Oh. Hi, good morning, Brian and Kelly. Kelly says, had a cold for a couple days, been missing my first cup with Whistlekick family. Much better. Glad to hear it. Sorry you were unwell. I got distracted. What was I doing? Oh, one of you sent me a topic. At least one of you sent me a topic. Where was this one? Here it is. Yep, that's probably the one we're going to talk about later. So, good morning, Andy. I feel disconnected. I feel out of it. I slept great. Slept for a reasonable amount of time. Woke up rather abruptly. I mean, I don't have cream for my coffee. This could be the type of morning where I'm down and sad, but I'm not. I wish I had cream in my coffee and not butter. Because let's face it, it tastes much better. Gad says, no training tonight. It's another scorcher of a day and no AC in the house. Fan doesn't really provide much relief. I'm sorry to hear that. I've said it before. Don't underestimate cold water in a bucket and your feet in the bucket. It does a remarkable job. Stacy says, this is not going to sound exciting, but I excavated the dishes from the kitchen sink. Needed to happen for a long time. Oh. Here's a tip from 23-year-old Jeremy. If you go too long without doing your dishes, move them to the bathtub. Yes, I did that a couple times. Brian says, class tonight, although I might have to go a little easy. Got a nice bruise on my left foot. I didn't feel it or notice it until Renee pointed it out. Haha, meh, whatever. It's just a bruise. You'll be okay. Stacey says, Frank had a topic yesterday. That was the one that is loaded up on my phone. Andy says, how's the bird in the window? You know what? I haven't heard from the bird in a while. I just put bird food back in the feeder yesterday to see, like, okay, without food around, is the bird gone? Because I like having the other birds around. So we will see if it brings that bird back. Fingers crossed. It does not. Good morning, Nathan. Brian asks, what do I put in my coffee daily? Usually heavy whipping cream. It's just another form of dairy fat, but it tastes a lot better than butter. Good morning, Jason. Jason's teaching early morning classes out of town today, so he gets to hit up his favorite donut and boba tea place on the way. That's awesome. Enjoy. I've never had boba tea. I've heard it's great. I'll have to try it at some point. Jenny says, Tuesdays rock because I train twice. Matt adjusted his schedule for me so I can train in person on Tuesday mornings. I'm still doing Zoom for the rest of my classes because I have a toddler and a very understanding instructor. Dad says, bathtub dishes, been there, done that. Kelly's getting ready for promotional color belt testing next Saturday. And Jenny's also working on finalizing the Kicks and Flicks article on Game of Death for Marshall Journal. Cool. Take care, Andy. Have a great day. Liz has class tonight. Vinny was told yesterday that he will be testing for his yellow belt in a few weeks. He's very excited. That's awesome. Please tell him congratulations for me. Brian says he's thought about the MCT oil and butter super coffee. I've researched a little. It's interesting stuff. Can be really good. All MCT is not created equal. And make sure when you start adding it to your coffee, let's just say don't use a lot at once. Slow and steady as you increase up to however much you want. You can probably connect the dots. Kelly says her daughter loves boba tea, even bought the stuff from Amazon to make herself. Well, that's cool. I can't help, whenever I read boba, my brain wants to say fett. Doesn't want to say tea. So if any of you are ever talking about boba tea on the show and I read it as Boba Fett, that's why. It's a weird word. It's supposed to rain today. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. Actually, no, it's not supposed to rain today. It's going to be a really nice day. And I am hopeful, though not optimistic, that I can get enough work done to get outside, do some outside work. I haven't been to the gym in a little bit. Probably go to the gym. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. There was a point in time, I'm not as aggressive with this as I was, but there was a point in time where immediately after the show, I would go to my desk and I would start working. And I got so much done. But we're at a point now where the projects that I'm doing don't really require that kind of work. This is back when I think I did 2 books in a year. I think this was when we did Faith and, well, I don't know if I would call them books, but all the training programs, all those pieces, I needed that time. I needed that before I started like giving my brain to other projects time. And I don't really have anything like that anymore, which is nice because I'm a morning person, but I don't want to wake up and do work. this isn't quite work. Like it's kind of work, but in the sense that I feel obligated to it, but it's not work in the sense that I enjoy doing it and it actually sustains me rather than drains me. I try to get to my desk for 8. If I've got to cut my hair or something, like yesterday, I got physically ready to record the episodes. I was done at 9. I had something to eat and cleaned up a little bit on our set. Kelly started watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it is the best of the 3 Star Wars series on Disney Plus. Mandalorian is very good. Boba Fett is a little bit better. Obi-Wan is better than that. I said what I said. Stacy suggesting cross-marketing campaign. Boba Fett bubble tea. Huh. I think it would work because it's unexpected. Yeah. Liz says she tried the super coffee creamer and it was way too sweet for me. That stuff has MCT. It also has a lot of stevia, if I remember correctly. Not everybody likes the coffee sweet. Gat says boba, one of the best Taiwanese inventions. Don't really know why it's called boba. In Chinese, it's Zhenju Na Cha, pearl milk tea. That was the only flavor at the time. I bet Nancy Pelosi is enjoying one now. I'm not going to respond to any of that because I don't have the knowledge to respond to half of it, and we don't talk about the other part. If I'd caught it in time, I wouldn't have even read that part. Oh, road bikers. Oh, let me just say this. If any of you are road bikers, there's a 50-50 shot that I hate you. It seems like it's split pretty evenly. There are road bikers who are aware of what's going on. They ride safely. If they ride more in the middle, they pay attention and they move over when a car is coming. And then the other half seem to act like riding 3 wide on a blind corner is a perfectly fine idea and all cars behind them should just wait. Not a big fan of road bikers. But I try to be patient. The ones that ride on my road, it's probably, well, actually, they're a little bit better than average. There was one the other day that riding like completely the middle of the road. I was driving behind at a safe distance, but close enough that he should have been able to hear me, but he had his earbuds in. So he had no idea I was there, no mirrors. And it makes me wonder, like, how many people that are less patient than I am get frustrated and do risky things that put their lives at risk. And I don't understand why. I grew up biking. That's how I had to get everywhere. I didn't have mirrors, but I also didn't put headphones in because that was dangerous as heck. Brian says, yeah, I've tried that. I meant to say bulletproof coffee. I didn't care for the actual super coffee brand. There's a bunch of stuff like that. If I remember correctly, my favorite MCT sweeteners were from Onnit, ONNIT. We are not sponsored. I haven't bought any of their stuff in a while. The stuff is expensive, but when you figure out like how little you're using, it's not that bad. But I still think I take everything back to one of my guiding principles. The closer to nature it is, the better. Heavy cream is closer to nature than emulsified MCT oil with some kind of flavor added to it. It's a nice treat. And if it's what makes the difference in you getting the fat in your coffee for the morning, go for it. You got to pick your battles. I like heavy cream in my coffee. I would just as not maybe not quite just as happily, but I've got butter in my coffee. I've got coconut oil in my coffee. If you've got a good blender, coffee plus Hershey's cocoa powder, unsweetened, plus some coconut oil. Whip that stuff up. Mocha latte. Good stuff. All right. Now, Frank gave us a good topic yesterday. What is this? Oh, it's Facebook trying to get me to engage in posts on one of our own pages. Frank says, at some point, let's talk about cell phones and how they impact situational awareness. So, situational awareness, right? The idea that I am out and about and I'm paying attention to what's going on. I'm at a restaurant and I know what other people are doing. I'm in a crowded area, or I'm even driving my car. Cell phones have probably been the strongest detractor from situational awareness ever invented. Jenny's got a comment on road bikers. We have pedestrians around here that do stuff like that, and they refuse to move out of the road when a car comes by, even though there isn't enough space for cars to drive around them, and they're blatantly blocking traffic. Entitled suburbanites, we have them. Yeah. Some people just like to cause problems. It's kind of like I mentioned, was it last week? The line workers who parked in a terrible spot, and when I pointed out that it was a terrible spot, defended their actions by suggesting that other people should not do what they're doing. Yeah, this is how the argument for going in the middle of the road, etc., seems to be defended. So let's talk about cell phones. Let's talk about the use of cell phones in public. Put aside any of the utility, put aside any of the social constructs where it may be rude at times. We're not talking about any of that. If I am in a public place, or if I am anywhere, doesn't have to be public, if I am anywhere where my ability to observe what is going on is compromised, and that leads to a reduction in my ability to be aware of what's happening, that's something to consider. Now, if I sit on my couch and I look at my phone and I'm not aware of what's going on my TV, that's about as unlikely to have an impact on my life as anything. I'm not even watching the news. So if you couldn't even make the argument that something pops up with the news and they're like, hey, there's an asteroid. You've got 4 minutes to live. I mean, even if there was 4 minutes, what am I going to do? But I wouldn't get that message anyway. I'd actually get it on my phone. So if I'm in my house, irrelevant. If I'm sitting outside, almost zero. We could have some creature come out of the woods and want to maul me, and I've now missed a few seconds of it and can't get into the house in time. That could happen. But how about the situations that are far more likely? And you know what? It's not at a restaurant. It's not driving your car. I do not condone using your phone while you're driving. It is illegal in most places. My only comment on that fact is if you don't know when to use your phone while driving, if it is only because of the law that you don't use your phone while you're driving, you're probably a terrible driver and probably make plenty of other stupid choices while you're behind the wheel. It's when you're out walking around. It's when you're walking down the street, your head's down, and you're looking at your phone, and you're not paying attention to what's going on the sidewalk or on the street or in a crowd. Once in a while, a sarcastic but real article pops up about somebody walking down the street looking at their phone and they fall in an open manhole cover. Great. But how many people genuinely trip over curbs and bump into other people? How many arguments have happened because people were looking at their phone and not paying attention to the others around them? I think about the opposite of being out and about with people, and it's probably being out on a hiking trail. It's probably the best opposite end of a spectrum I can think of. Good morning, Mark. I can't imagine anybody, especially near the top of a mountain, feeling safe walking using their phone. Why? Because they know that there are consequences all around them. They could fall off the edge of a mountain. At the very least, they could bump into trees or slip on rocks. And if nothing else, you're out there to be away from stuff, to enjoy nature. So you're probably not going to engage with a phone. When you're with people, when you're walking down the sidewalk, you are saying, hey, it's up to you to get out of my way. It goes back to the road bikers, the 50% that I don't like anyway. You're telling the world what I'm doing is so important that I I don't need to pay attention to any potential interactions that could cause harm. I don't condone violence of any kind. There is something to be said when someone is mugged and they are choosing to use their phone as a precursor. Oh, let's grab that person. They're not paying attention. They're clearly alone. Let's grab their wallet. Let's drag them into that alley and force them to give up whatever they have. Have I ever pulled my phone out while I was walking? Absolutely. But I usually stop, step out of traffic, and I look at, okay, where am I supposed to go? Oh, who is this call from? Oh, hold on. Stacy says staff walking and texting in the hospital is a real thing. They bump into each other. I'm sure it is. And we could make the assumption that all of what's going on in that environment is professional and necessary and super important, but I'm going to guess it's not. And you know how I know that? If you're walking and typing, you're not thinking 100%. And you know you're going to make typos. Anything really important can't have typos. You got to sit down. You got to get out of the way. You have to consider what you're saying. It's people, I'm sure, 95% of what's going on in these circumstances doesn't need to happen. It's people setting up lunch. Do you want to get lunch? What are you doing after work? That kind of stuff. And she goes on. And let me tell you, some of those text nurses and docs are on a full tilt boogie. Jenny says, I'm not sure if you meant it that way, but I totally just envisioned you walking around watching First Cup on your phone and bumping into a coworker or four. That's funny. Oh, Stacy says, nope, because the docs receive texts and pages on urgent cases. I try to be super aware they might not be aware of others in the hall. Okay. I'm still guessing it's a very small percentage of what people are looking at walking down those halls. Gat says people who walk their dog and look at their phone the whole time. What if your hairy friend eats something off the ground that harms it? When I think of, I'll read Kelly's comment and then respond. Oh yeah, cell phone zombies is a major topic when discussing awareness. Most people just watching funny animal videos. This is another example of a split in a perception of society, and most of the martial arts community is in agreement on on a certain aspect of this. It's the belief that you are responsible for your own safety and that other people are responsible for your own safety. And I'm not going to suggest other examples of where that split occurs. Martial artists are generally cognizant of the fact that no one's going to take care of them better than they are. You know, I got to take care of myself. I have to take care of me. I have to take care of my family. I have to be my own bodyguard. Part of that is not having your phone out while other people are around, such that it compromises your ability to respond quickly. I'll take my phone out at a restaurant if I'm sitting at the table by myself. And, you know, I look up now and then. If it's an environment where I don't feel completely safe, I don't do it. Maybe I'll turn some music on, and if I have an earbud in. If I'm out in public, I usually don't have both of them in. Very, very rare I will do that. At the gym or in the yard. That's about it. Liz says, I've also noticed that parents have become increasingly distracted by their phones when out with their kiddos. This makes me both nervous and sad, as it is a proven fact that people who take children use parents who are distracted as their. Got it. It is a proven fact that people who take children use parents who are distracted as their number one factor for choosing targets. Yeah. Josh says, as an intern in the hospital, most of the time my constant pages were something super important, like a nurse telling me I screwed up something super urgent, like I forgot to write the time down on my last order. And that was a page. You don't have to have your face buried in the pager the whole time. It beeps or buzzes and you take it out and you're like, all right, I got to go call that number. I got to report to that area. Or even if it was a text pager, okay, now you know what to do. And I am not surprised that someone in the medical industry was scolding you for not doing things perfectly, especially if you were an intern. If anybody ever wants, I've said this before, if you ever want to see an interesting list, look up the list of professions most likely to have look up the professions psychopaths are most likely to go into. Kelly's in agreement with me. Yes, one earbud, or I say just listen to it in your pocket at a low volume. Cars drive by with radios cranked. You can walk by with music on. Yep. Please don't do that while you're hiking. Makes everyone in the woods sad. So if we think about situational awareness, whether we're talking about a phone or anything else, it's about balance. Where is the balance? You'll never be 100% safe. But like anything else, what are the big rocks that we can move? There's a difference between a quick glance at your phone and tappy, 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 tappy for 20 minutes. This is also where I'm a huge proponent. If you need to communicate, this is where you use voice transcription. because then I can have my phone recording my voice and I can still look around at what's going on and be aware, and just make sure you open or close that that message with, hey, I'm using voice to text. Or you send a voice recording and they have to listen to it, which everyone hates, but that's also an option. I don't think any of you are, I'm guessing few, if any of you, are problematic with this. But you probably have friends and family who are. It's tough to get people to change their habits. The best thing you can do is lead. If they have the opportunity to see you, try not to use your phone while you're in one of these scenarios. If there's a gentle way to bring up the subject, do it. Don't let your kid get into the habit of using their phone while they're walking around. It's easier said than done, I get that. And there we go. Good topic. Thank you, Frank. If any of you have a topic you want us to tackle, get it to me somehow. You can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. Ideally, Facebook message me if you use Facebook. If you don't use Facebook, well, you got the email. I like how Gad phrases this. I have a kind of a mantra now when it comes to texting. Not every message needs a response right away. And Kelly says, I do an awareness drill in self-defense workshops and have all participants on one side of the room and ask them to cross the room with awareness. I stand along the wall halfway, and as they pass, I'll raise my hand and show a number of fingers. Most never see my movement. Yep. And if there's a phone involved, nobody's going to see it. Remember, we do this show weekdays, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you want to support us, we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. We've got the discount code, first couple 15 to save 15% at whistlekick.com on everything from a training program to a shirt to, yeah, we do have some sparring gear. And if you want the whole list, if you are part of this Whistlekick family and you want to do all you can to help us out in our mission to connect, educate, and entertain, please check out whistlekick.com/family. Yeah, button, come on. There we go. And we'll end with Stacy's comment here. Rock out today. Yeah, I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you, I hope, back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.